Hello magical souls, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, my name is Lydia and I am the Witch of Multi-Realms. Recently, I have posted a video about how to discover your psychic abilities, and I have also held a workshop in the same topic. Now this is a workshop that I will be holding regularly to help those who are interested discover the psychic abilities that they are born with. With that said, one of the most common questions I received pertaining to psychic abilities is, how can I tell if what I'm hearing in my head or I'm sensing is from my spiritual team or from something else, or is it just my own mumbo jumbo in the head? Now today we're going to discuss this. First, let's ask the question, why would any spirit or spirits try to communicate with you? When you have a thought, it forms itself as a signal. Now, I'm not going to give this signal a qualitative term because this is in the area of science, and I do not have enough knowledge in the area to say that it is a particle or a wave or an electron or a photon. Now, I do not know enough to give that label to what your thought turns into, but it is a form of signal. When you think anything, you send a signal out, which means you make yourself an open channel for communication, thereby delivering that signal to any spirits or entity to say, come communicate with you, which is the reason why spirits communicate with you. In other words, you're asking for the communication when you think. And that is actually very normal. You think at any moment in your waking hours. I mean, most humans do, even children. I mean, there is no age limit. The moment you're able to conceive a thought, you think, and that kind of thinking, whether it's conscious thinking or subconscious thinking, sometimes it does not even have to come in the form of like a full sentence in your head, like, what shall I do today? It does not even have to be anything like that. But it could be when you're in a situation when perhaps you are in a strange situation that slightly trigger an anxiety, and then in your subconscious you process a very small split second of a thought. It is still a thought, but of course you may not be very consciously aware that you have that in the back of your mind. Okay? So the moment you have a thought, it sends a signal asking for communication with spirits. Now, in the law of hermetic philosophies, which is aligned with quantum physics discovery, it shows that there will always be duality or polarity, meaning if there is black, there is white. If there is hot, there is cold. If there is up, there is down. There will always be the opposite of everything. Okay? It is unavoidable. And it is a cosmic law in itself. So that means to say, both polarities of entities will reach out to you when you send that when you send that thought signal to call for communication. Two kinds, or rather opposing kinds of entities will want to communicate with you. So to this extent, it is fair to say that as much as you can receive information or communication from your guardian spiritual team, you can also receive communications from other entities that might not be your guardians. I'll put it this way. So now you understand that this means although our 3D body in this reality is not able to receive or sense spiritual communication, in fact, spiritual communication is the communication between our spirit and other spirits. So, and that means a lot of your inner spirit alignment is what calls for this communication. Now, in the subject of alignment, this is the part where it gets closer to answering why certain entities will come and speak to you, even if they are not your guardian team. I will not call them good or bad. There is polarity, I'll put it this way, but we do not need to categorize in the area of moralizing. Let's put it in density levels. If you are thinking of lighter density thoughts, applying compassion, love, understanding, altruism, wisdom, you are delivering thoughts that are calling in conversations of the lighter side. And usually that comes from any one of your guardian spiritual team. Vice versa, the denser energy and thought forms that you deliver that was sent out from a space of fear, ego or self-centeredness or obsession tend to draw in entities and spirits that want to communicate with you in aid of delivering action towards those thoughts. In the last episode, when I discussed discovering psychic abilities, some of the things I mentioned, how spirit likes to send messages to you, could come in many ways, one of which is through synchronicities and through symbols. For those who are not as attuned or connected to their psychic abilities, spirit will still watch out for you and come towards you to help guide you. And again, it is not just your spiritual team or guardian spirit. The other side also would try to communicate with you depending on the signals that you send out. And that is related to your thought, right? Now, it's not as though you're thinking of lighter thoughts. The denser beings don't want to communicate with you. They still want to, but they can't reach you because your thought frequency is up here. Whereas the denser beings, their thought frequency is down here. Their communication frequency is down here. So if your thought frequency comes down here, then you are on the same channel as them, and then they can send you stuff. They all are sending us communication. They all try to. And I'm going to come to this next point, which is, how do you know whether you're getting guidance from your spiritual team? Basically, the path of least resistance is how they will try to reach you. So you don't have to be afraid if you're not very engaged with your psychic abilities as of now. You can practice, and you can practice in many, many ways, which I have discussed in the other video as well as during my workshop. And if you do not have that strong of a psychic ability, don't worry, they will still reach out to you. And at the end of the day, they can still come to you in dreams. Okay, I want to talk about those people who actually have very strong psychic sensing. Meaning you're already attuned, you already know which psychic abilities you have, and you are honing in the skill. So you know your channel is open in a sense. The receptivity of these messages, your receptivity of these messages is basically like tuning in to the right frequency on the radio channel. The more tuned in you are, the more you choose to listen to the messages that your spiritual team gives you, the more aligned you get with them. Therefore, your bond and your rapport with your spiritual team is all a matter of practice and how receptive you are. If you're watching this video, which probably means you are interested in communicating with your spiritual team, that intention is already set. The fact that you intend means that you have the desire to speak with them. And this in itself is calling for them to come to you in any way, shape, or form they can. Now, I'm going to say this, in any way, shape, or form. They will not come to you when you're not ready to see things that you're not ready to see, because that would scare you. That might spook you. Okay, so this is one other thing I would like to put out. They will come to you at the point of least resistance. So if you are a gentle creature, you do not want to see things. So maybe you will not receive them through clairvoyance. Maybe you might receive them through dreams. And maybe even in dream world, they will come to you in an image that is something you're more receptive to. Basically nothing that scares you. And if some entity comes along and scares you, you can tell that it's not for your higher interest and higher good. So speaking of higher interest and higher good, I would like to, so I sidetracked a bit just now, I actually would like to mention this as well. Again, I'm not trying to moralize or judge. I cannot and I will not moralize or judge your preference of thought form. Okay, so in summary, lighter entities and denser entities in their own way are always around us and ready to send communication towards us in the best way we can receive them. Now, whether we are receptive or on the same frequency with them in order to receive their messages depends on the thoughts that we have and the signals we send out. So if you think lighter thoughts, you get more communication with your guardian spirit team, which is lighter densities, and vice versa. In this essence, I like to also stress that as a sovereign being, you have the free will to exercise your will in any direction you want to take it, because it is your life. Your spiritual team might advise you hundreds of times over one same subject. But at the end of the day, it is you, your soul, in this 3D body, deciding to take the action that will give you the outcome of what you want. So it's never their action. They will only advise you. They will only say what they can to you. And whether you even want to receive that information is all entirely up to you. And same for the other side. So I hope I have given ample explanation in this area. In this video, I almost forgot to mention, which actually, yes, I forgot to mention. I woke up the next morning and I thought, okay, I should film this. As you can see, it's a different day, different lighting. Okay, so what I want to say is, what I mentioned earlier, all these things about discerning between whether you're talking to your guardian spiritual team or it's something else, this is information more for those who are just starting to discover their psychic abilities and discovering that they have access to communicate with their guardian spiritual team. Now, this is very different from other, I would say, more advanced magical workings in when witches or magicians or occultists practice magic. And in our own workings, we may call in entities from different places and spirits from different places. And these are mostly not from our guardian spiritual team. So I'll take myself, for example. In my experience, a lot of the workings that I do, I require assistance and working together with spirits of different kind, elemental spirits, deities, and sometimes in necromancy area, I will be working with those that have passed on, spirits that have passed on. With that said, this kind of spirits also do not always answer your call or come as you call them. And also, there is a different layer of protection to work on prior to calling these spirits. So that in itself is advanced magic, and I would do that in a separate video. So this is all I have for you today. I hope you found this interesting. If you like this content, please like my video, follow and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.